Hey everybody, welcome to the morning market briefing. It's Thursday, July 2nd, 2026. Hope you're doing well. No call tomorrow. The 4th of July is observed on the 3rd by the market, so the office is closed. Hope you guys have big weekend plans. We'll get to those at the end. We also need a recap from Chief European Correspondent Ben Nye on his World Cup experience from yesterday here in Atlanta, so got to do some international reporting locally. But opening up, let's talk ISM manufacturing. I am getting a text that I need to respond to, Ben. Sorry. Do you mind jumping in?
Yeah, Hicks, if we can pull up the chart on the ISM manufacturing number, essentially it was pretty much as expected. I don't actually know what the estimates were, but that's basically where we had our estimates. We thought it was going to be a little bit down from last month, but and that's basically what the other surveys had suggested. Yes, Tom?
Estimate was 53.9, came in at 55.7, so.
It came at 53.3.
Oh, nope, I got it backwards. 55.7 was the survey, actual 53.9.
55.7?
That's what I'm seeing.
Is ridiculous.
Oh, no, I'm looking at S&P Global. I'm off by one line. Sorry. 53.9, 53.3.
Okay, still 53.
You can't have S&P Global manufacturing PMI come in and be on the next line up from ISM on Bloomberg. Who designed this thing?
The but regardless, I mean, it was as I anticipated, and as probably most people who are actually reading the data. If you just have a Garch model that's modeling the ISM manufacturing, maybe it comes at 53.9. But if you actually use the data that has come in over the past 3 weeks, we knew that it was going to be a little bit softer. Part of that was driven by prices. Prices came down a lot, 82.1 to 73. Part of that was driven by a little bit decline in new orders, but employment was up. Just really quickly on the new orders, though, it was interesting because we've risen from a ratio of 1.6 positive comments to negative comments to 2.7 positive comments to negative comments. So a lot of neutrals, but the positives are definitely outweighing the negatives by quite a bit. So I wouldn't read too much into the slight decline in new orders. I mean, I think everything's pretty solid there. And on the employment side, there's more hiring that's taking place on the manufacturing side of the economy. We'll get into the services side of the economy here in a minute, but I think the biggest positive there is the prices coming down. And they say, number one, it's still high because of the steel and aluminum prices, but again, that's starting to fade out. Tariffs that again are starting to fade out, and petroleum-based products, which again are starting to fade out. So I think pretty solid on the manufacturing side of the economy based on the survey, and really mostly in line with what we have thought, given the Philly Fed, the Dallas Fed, the Richmond Fed, the New York Fed.
I mean, prices paid last month it was 82.1.
Yep.
So that's a huge drop.
Yep.
Call it 12%, 1/8-ish.
1/8-ish. I mean, it's a favorable backdrop. The commentary tracking in those ratios is specifically interesting to me, just because we do look at this as kind of an under the radar data point. I don't feel like people look at the ISM survey data the way they should, and sometimes that commentary gives you a bit of a read through also on just where we're headed. People with mass uncertainty aren't offering up something that's slightly positive, so worth noting there. We do have jobs rolling in, Tom. Looking for 113,000 jobs. Previous was 172.
So, first of all, I'm going to go ahead and stop you there. Previous, shockingly, revised down by 74,000 jobs.
So right in line with where we thought it would be last month.
129,000 jobs. And this month, expectation 113, we came in at 57,000. So
we wiped out all the jobs of last month.
So if you go ahead and say, if we're off by as much as last month, we're roughly down 14,000 jobs, if I had to guess.
I mean, it's on.
So if you say this one is like all jobs reports we've gotten for the last 3 years, somewhere around 80,000 jobs too high, we lost jobs in the month of June. That would be my base case.
Remember when we were talking?
This is actually a negative number.
What was? Can you look up the expectation for jobs last month?
I think it was 129.
Because I feel like that number is landing where I thought we were going to be.
Let's see. I don't know if I can go back.
Remember when we were talking about all the positives from the leisure and hospitality industry last time? How there was like 112,000 jobs. That was revised down. I mean, that was the lion's share of the revision, it was revised down to 40,000. I had to make sure, like, zoom in to make sure I got my lines right here. So it was up 40,000 in May, ahead of the World Cup, and down 61,000 in June. So we've wiped out all and then some of the jobs that we created in the leisure and hospitality industry from last month. Really, the only sectors producing jobs at the moment are in public education and health services. And public education, of course, is irrelevant right now because school's out of. And then, so it's really just healthcare, and then temp work.
So median estimate for last month's reading, which was actually May's reading, was 88,000. We came in at 172. That has since been revised down to, what did I say, 74? Yeah, so.
Very something
reliable.
tells me, though, I bet we're sitting at about a 4.3 unemployment rate.
Yeah, that is.
It actually went down.
No, actually went down
4.2. This is crazy.
So if we look at the, do you have the participation rate there, Tom?
Oh, let me go back. I was looking at WIRP. See if we got some
participation did tick up a little.
Participation rate. Where are we here? I don't have participation rate on Bloomberg. Let me look.
They were looking for a 61.8, which is where we were last month.
Here we go. 61.8 was the expectation. 61.5.
Yeah. So people dropping out of the labor force is why the unemployment rate went down.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have been 4.5.
This is crazy.
This is
But when you hear us,
or maybe it's actually 6.5.
Yeah. When you hear us whine about the data, this is exactly why. This is not even the round trip looking over the last year. Let's wipe 1 million jobs off the board. This is a month later.
I mean, remember how everyone came out and was like, "Well, we've got to hike rates." When you you guys are wrong because the jobs number was so strong. There's absolutely no reason why we should even consider cutting rates. And then a month later, they're not going to go back and be like, "Hey, remember when we said all that?"
Yeah, no,
because they're not going to talk about the revision at all.
No.
And this is exactly why Kevin Warsh wants to get away from this.
Yep.
He's like, we're looking at echoes of history that even themselves are not very reliable.
Yeah, it's now July 2nd. We are looking at a May jobs number that has been revised down that may be more accurate now, but arguably still not accurate. And no one's going to go back and undo the trades they made in May or in June based on May numbers in July. It's confusing, and I mean, there's a word for it, but we don't say that word anymore.
No, you can't. Let's talk Kevin Warsh. We got some more commentary from Sweet Colby. Continuing the Timmerhouse thing, the Timmerhouse dynamic remains maybe the most underratedly compelling story in our world right now.
Yeah, so I watched the entire panel yesterday, and I had to stop and pause it a few times just because it was in the middle of the morning. I was trying to do trades, and so I'd have to focus in and out on it. But I did clock, I think, the number of task forces said by Kevin Warsh. It was said total many times, but by him it was about 6.
It was the headline on Bloomberg as I walked through the kitchen. It was like Warsh on task force.
Yeah, and he didn't give a lot of information other than he did talk about the echoes of history thing. We need to work on getting data. He's like, companies that operate in this market are using the newest, latest, most late-breaking data to make their decisions. He's like, and we're looking back months. I mean, this is a great example of this jobs report. We're looking back months to try and figure out what we need to do. He's like, and then you're doing something that won't take months to take effect by modulating interest rates. He's like, so by the time you actually do it, he's like, you're a year behind. There was a lot of good talk. I was interested to see the dynamics between really the 3 important players. I don't really care what Tiff Macklem had to say. And they didn't call him a ton. But it seems that there's a lot of respect, both from Christine Lagarde and from Andrew Bailey, for Kevin Warsh. It seems they've all had a lot of overlap in the past. They've all worked on different things together, and it seemed like almost more respect than there was for Jay Powell. It seemed very collegial, and the talking points were higher level, I thought, than in the past. But one thing that really stuck out to me is Sarah Eisen asked, what is the data point you hate or dislike the most? And Christine Lagarde surprisingly said the ones that are wrong, which is interesting because, like, I mean, there's a lot of decisions making on very obviously wrong data, in my opinion. It's less so in the Europe because their data just is outright stinky all the time. And so she's probably making moves based on that. But Andrew Bailey said, he's like, this is one that we've been wrestling with my entire career, which is oil futures. And that's a really good insight into what is going on in the Bank of England, because they've obviously been hammered far more than we have by the price of oil. He's like, but oil futures are almost always wrong. And he said that. He's like, there's been a development in the Middle East that causes oil futures to go skyrocketing. He's like, but the fact of the matter is, if you bought those futures at $120, $140 a barrel, you're now looking at $70 a barrel on oil, and you were wrong. And making investment decisions or even forecasting interest rates based on oil futures is a very dangerous thing to do. And everyone has been doing that for the last 4 or 5 months. Everyone has been like, well, the price of oil is going up. Inflation is going to 7. We need to sell off all interest rates, and there will never be any cuts. Except here we are in June, July now, and that's no longer the case. But we extrapolated that out for the next decade. And it's just very silly. But I thought that was really, I think Andrew Bailey is a very sharp operator. And he's proven himself to be so. And I think that he showed a lot of respect for Kevin Warsh, which gives me confidence that we've got at least a better operator in that seat now. But to your point, Andrew, Colby Smith, wrote a pretty fair and balanced article.
And it was so succinct.
Yeah, it's just like
comparative.
In and out.
Yeah, it's just like, here's what's happening. Inflation risks have eased since he took over. The idea that they're going to hike is probably unlikely. Tim Rouse says inflation has improved, but he won't say that they should be hiking, but they probably should. Like Tim Rouse is just, he's stuck. He's stuck in neutral. He doesn't know how to progress into the new era of the Fed. He's just holding on to Jay Powell's apron and hoping that mommy will give him a treat. And unfortunately, Jay Powell is not his mommy anymore. And so he's just getting whipsawed all over the place. He looks frantic and disjointed, and the articles he's writing are, he seems like he just has to put something on paper, and so he's just putting his own opinions out there.
Yeah. If you put into an AI, or I would hope it would come out accurately about the bias in these articles, I think that would, the reason that we go after Timorous all the time is because he does have a lot of sway, and previously he did have the hotline to Jay Powell.
Yeah.
And I think it's just so important to understand where the reliable information is coming from and where it's not coming from. And when you see someone who has to, in brackets, say expectations of future inflation in brackets over the last 4 weeks have come down, when in reality is, since Kevin Warsh joined, he was saying in the last 4 weeks since I joined, the expectations have come down, but he refuses to connect the dots, because he wants to say over the last 4 weeks, and that's because of Iran, not Kevin Warsh. All of a sudden, he's interjecting so much opinion in that is so subtle, and he probably doesn't even realize that he's injecting that opinion, but that's just where his mental bias is situated. And so I think it's very important to understand who's a reliable narrator and who's not, because a lot of these people we're just assuming
we put on a pedestal
truth
because of one bit of reporting and one bit of access, and then they are the authority.
I don't want to jump to conclusions, but there's been a lot of information revealed recently about the inappropriate relationship between Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel. And she was able to break a lot of news because she had, I would argue, unlimited access to him. Yeah. Extremely unlimited, people would say. But they're now saying they go back and look at reporting, and there was a report that she put out that said that he was just out there crushing his job interviews, that he was the hottest coaching candidate in the NFL when he was trying to land a new job, and that she may have just written those articles, completely fabricated them in order to get him the job with the Patriots. And that's what you're seeing here is like, she's so entangled, I'll use the word entangled with him, that she wants him to get the best job possible. And so she just starts writing articles that would necessitate that. And I think that Nick Timmerhouse is equally entangled with Jay Powell.
I've seen the hot tub photos.
And wants people just think he's a superstar, when in reality he was fine at times, bad at others, and good in some parts of his career. But like, he's not the be all end all of monetary operators. He just isn't. So pretty interesting stuff, I think.
Lots in AI world. OpenAI is proposing 5% for the U.S. government. Just why would the government want that?
I mean, would the government pay?
It feels
for
like
it is what
talk
I
about an
wonder.
entanglement. I feel like we're gonna get entangled to where like we're funding things.
I think Scott Bessent's going to look at that and say, no, thank you.
Yeah.
If Scott Bessent got in an SPV and it was kind of no voting shares or anything like that, and the U.S. didn't have to put up any money, then as a taxpayer, I'd be like, sure, I'll take the $100 billion. If OpenAI is at a $2 trillion valuation, then as Americans, I feel like if Sam Altman's willing to give it to us,
Can we sell it?
We'll take the $100 billion.
Let's sell
Thank
it.
you very much. But I don't know if that'll happen.
Yeah.
But I do think if it happens with OpenAI, it happens with every other company.
Meanwhile, Anthropic's Fable 5 has been unrestricted for the U.S. government. I don't know if this is good or bad, but
I mean, I think Harrison Pettigrew
Bad for the bad guys.
is very excited about it.
yeah, that's his realm, not mine. And Michael Burry says that this is the beginning of the end in AI, which is probably the one thing that might make me most optimistic about it.
Yeah, I mean, again, like we talked about this with the Bank of America and Citigroup. I think was it earlier this week or was it last week? It all blurs together for me, but he says it's a pure form of overvaluation. He says the proximate cause of it was Tuesday's rally was big spending announced out of Korea. Well, I see that as the beginning of the end. It's like, okay, you can see however you want. Doesn't mean that it is.
How are his water bond trades going?
He's focusing on investing on water.
I mean, he's been short Tesla for the last 10 years.
Yeah, great job.
I mean, it literally put him out of business. He no longer manages money. The guy who called the financial crisis no longer manages outside capital. He writes a newsletter on Substack.
He tweets every once in a while, and then he deletes his Twitter when he's wrong 3 days later.
All right, on the deleted tweet subject, there was reporting out of Wall Street Journal yesterday that SpaceX had teased out this new phone prototype that was going to be an AI product, smaller and thinner than an iPhone. It was going to use the Snapdragon chipset from Qualcomm. This morning I woke up and Elon Musk had quote tweeted it, and it said utterly false. That tweet is now gone.
Oh, so he utterly false and then he de-utterly false.
Yeah. And several people, I saw it this morning because I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then several people have the screenshot of, but I definitely saw the live, the actual tweet from 12:01 a.m. this morning saying this is utterly false. That's all it said. But now the speculation is quite rampant, especially as he is now unutterly falsed it.
I mean, it was all over the place yesterday.
Yeah.
There were some interesting think pieces written about it. I mean, I've said for the full, 3 or 4 years we've been really talking about Starlink and SpaceX being public, that as soon as you get a Starlink phone, why would you need another phone?
Yeah.
If you can use your cell phone in the middle of the ocean, why would you not just have that cell phone if you can get it to a comparable price? There are some of these think pieces that were arguing that they should just buy T-Mobile outright and use that as the sales engine for their Starlink phones. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. They're very heavily indebted, and why not create a new avenue than take on a huge behemoth? Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile are some of the stinkiest debt holders in the planet because they've used all that money to buy up spectrum, which will no longer be even necessary.
I remember when Google bought Motorola Mobility and people were pumped about it, and then they ended up shutting it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my thought would be just roll the phone out. If it connects to the Starlink already exists. I mean,
Great.
Tesla broke the model with you can just order your car online rather than going to a dealership. I mean, why
go through the traditional channels for such?
It's almost like go ahead and reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Let's
do it.
Let's break the wheel. Let's not do a whole thing where we're just going to keep doing this garbage. Everybody hates an AT&T store. You walk in there and it's like the people there hate you. They don't seem really.
I'm going to go ahead. I would like to get the specs on the dimensions of this phone because I think there's a real opportunity to go ahead and make protective cases for it that say, I hate Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Like
I bought this phone
Yeah.
before Elon
Yeah.
Musk made this phone.
Yeah. I didn't buy this from a king.
Yeah.
All kinds of clever stuff you can do. We've seen all the bumper stickers, although a lot fewer bumper stickers out on the road on the Teslas these days.
Man, is he gonna be the first quadrillionaire if he rolls out?
It's crazy.
If he market corrects Apple.
I'll tell you what would get the boys going. I know he listens to the call, but Elon, if you're out there, let's get some innovation in cereal for Ben. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. U.S. declined to extend the USMCA agreement on Wednesday. So just further review process. It seems like this thing's going to get shaken up quite a bit.
Yeah. Right now, they're in a period where they basically have to renegotiate the deal every year for the next 10 years. So I think Mexico is trying to play ball a little bit. Canada's like, we're in a position of strength. We don't need to talk.
Yeah, they always say that.
Tiff will be unbothered.
When I think about Canada, I think strength.
I mean, last time I saw, like, Justin Trudeau was at the U.S. World Cup game. He was not at the Canadian World Cup game that was earlier.
Well, he also said not to spend your money in the U.S., watch the games at home, and not to travel because we don't want to enrich our greedy Trumpsters to the south of us. And then he showed up at the very first game and not the Canada one. And his legs were crossed so far around. He had his foot tucked up underneath his other leg.
There's no way that's comfortable.
There's nothing funnier than the Trudeau leg cross where I mean, it's crazy.
It's aggressive. It's like up and around.
Yeah, I don't even
it's
entangled.
One leg is like baby koala-ing the other leg,
Yeah.
just hanging on.
It's like one of those people who can do the thing where they wrap their arms and turn them backwards, but with his legs.
Yeah. What a guy.
Hey, quick programming note. Not really even programming note. ExxonMobil, and this is a surprise to me today, is changing the name of their corporation from ExxonMobil Corp to ExxonMobil Holding Corp. And so if you open up your account today and it looks like you're down a lot, it's because, for whatever reason, pre-market, ExxonMobil is showing a price of 0. We hope that will be rectified before
sometime
the end of the day. Otherwise, it's going to look like
I gotta say,
black eye.
I appreciate that they didn't do it on June 30th.
Yeah, so shout out to super user Jerry, who pointed that out to us this morning, asking why his account was down so much. And I had to scramble to figure out exactly what was going on. But every share of ExxonMobil, which is millions and millions of dollars, is showing a 0 in our accounts this morning. But there isn't a world where ExxonMobil doesn't trade today, right?
It's going to be okay.
Tom, can you tell me why bonds you don't think are high, down in yield this morning?
I mean, they are, but it's just, they're not as much as I would have anticipated either. 10-year up about 3. The long bond is off a little bit, but the short bonds are moving in.
Okay.
2, 3, 5, 7, 10 are all up. Yields are down. Prices are up. But I would expect more. But, I mean, that's interesting because the market trades really hard on a strong jobs report, and they don't trade hard on a bad jobs report. And yet, all of the strong jobs reports have been a pure fantasy going back 6-7 years now. So,
Ben, you went to a World Cup match yesterday at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Talk about it.
It was probably the single most enthralling sporting event I've ever attended.
Man.
I've been to a lot of college football, NFL. I've been to Atlanta United games. But this has been that was the level of national passion that was there was incredible. The crowd was packed. I mean, the excitement was just through the roof. The level of talent was unbelievable. The way that Mercedes-Benz Stadium put on the game was, I thought, very, very impressive. I was actually getting text messages from my family over in the UK saying that stadium looks unbelievable.
It is.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So I think that was a really good showcase for Atlanta and the US, and it was a phenomenal game. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Even surpassed my expectations.
Even though it was almost an historic upset of magnitude never seen
we
before.
were worried about you for a little while.
No, I went into it. It was kind of a bucket list item for me. I mean, I the first World Cup I ever watched was in 2002. I was 11 years old, and I got really into it, and I thought, man, I'm never gonna actually see a World Cup game in person, and to be able to do it 20 minutes away from where I live was unbelievable. So very, very grateful, very thankful, and on to the next round.
Can I give you the
and
official?
I'm jacked for the U.S. too.
I'm gonna have to redact this heavily, but I got an official review from Chief Scottish correspondent, my buddy Ryan. This was his ongoing stream of consciousness.
You've got to share your commentary back too. I think that really frames it.
He said, "England are S. We all know it, but they get easy draws. Holland get Morocco, ranked higher than them. Brazil gets Japan, etc. And England get F word, Congo. They got the nice AC-filled stadium. The Africans would have scudded them outdoors in the actual heat. Cry face. They get an easy draw and still make it hard at every tournament for having, quote, world-class players. They're bang average." And I said, sad. And he said, they're so hated.
Where's Scotland right now? That's what I wonder.
I don't know, but there's been a lot of reports that everyone likes them.
They're sad.
Yeah, they're the biggest winners of this World Cup, bar none, I'd argue.
Well, now England goes to Mexico City to play Mexico.
I mean,
open air.
Yeah, that's going to be a different game.
Counter argument, Ben. Where are your parents technically from?
Yeah, I mean, so I was actually getting a lot
Scotland by way of the world.
So I was actually getting a lot of heat that I was supporting the wrong team yesterday.
Yeah.
From you should have been supporting the Swiss, right?
Well, they wanted me to support Congo.
Really?
Yeah, they said. So I posted in our family's chat. I said
they disowned. They removed you.
I said we're going, and a couple of them were excited. One of them said, "Oh, I was at the Mexico game, supporting my home country of Mexico," and then another one said, "Well, I hope everyone was supporting Congo yesterday because they're our neighbors."
You've got to be kidding me.
And then to which my Scottish uncle, who's also English, who's lived in New Zealand, who was born in Uganda, said, "I'm English. My parents are English. We're supporting England." So there was a lot going on.
This is a very complicated dynamic.
Yeah.
In the space of 6 hours, we were supporting Mexico, Congo, and England. I just didn't even say anything about the U.S.
Is
game.
the family group chat, is it titled United Nations?
Ben, were you at all worried when the Supreme Court could have gone the wrong way and you and Zoran would have been on your way back to Uganda?
That would have been an interesting flight.
They call him Anchor Baby Ben.
Yeah. But I was jacked about the U.S. going through, although I think that it's going to be really tough without Balogun in the next round.
Yeah.
I've been saying that the whole time.
Yeah. Could have saw it coming though. Yeah. These feisty refs.
I mean, he said, did you hear what he said? He's like, that was a serious foul. Like, therefore it's a red card.
He stepped on his foot. I'm telling you.
While looking the other way.
July 4th, Rugby Nations Championship starts. There's going to be a lot of foot stepping and no complaining.
I will say, people that are longtime listeners to calls, I love this country. I'm very much in the camp of the U.S. needs to win this whole thing or just be done because I'm so tired of like having to be watching soccer.
Because if we lose, we'll be like,
I feel very obligated. Like I'm supporting the lads. I'm going out. Went to the Marietta Square last night. Had some dinner. Watched out on the square. They had a big TV set up for a minute. Walked home. Watched the end of the game. I'll pay my dues, but I'm getting real tired of it.
Yeah, because it's like, if we lose, it's like, wait, that's a we don't really even care about your sissy sport. We've got a bunch of other cool sports that nobody else plays and we're better at.
Yeah.
Or if it's like even hockey, it's like we beat Canada, pull their pants down. It's like that's the only thing you had. You've got nothing else.
Yeah.
We have better maple syrup in Vermont. Then it just doesn't matter.
I commented to Amanda when we were up at the square. I was like, it'd be so cool if they did this for a sport. Like if they set up the big TVs and closed down half the square and showed like a football game, it'd be like, this is sick.
Yeah.
Like real football. But
yeah, imagine if you put like Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Alabama, one of those, something people want to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be awesome.
Michael Penix was there.
Somewhere where no one can cries to get their foot stepped on.
Yeah.
I know we got to
Unless you're Tua was big. You stepped on my ankle.
He was a big guy in that.
I got to go out.
We'll talk about the second thing offline.
Yeah, sometimes offensive linemen step on quarterbacks' feet as they snap the ball. No one penalizes them. Not one. They're not banned from the game. They're not ridiculed in the media.
And the stoppage time. I mean, Amanda was having a real hard time with the clock situation. Where I'm like, they play 45 minutes, but then they'll play like an extra 5, but that 5 might be 7. And if it's actually 7, they'll let them finish doing whatever they're doing until there's a natural stopping point or a point at which the refs just say that's enough. And she's like, and then it's over. I'm like, no, then they do a halftime and then they do it again. And nothing will happen until there's 5 minutes left in regulation, and then there's the stoppage time. And she's like, but how much stoppage time will there be in the second half? I was like, I don't know. Maybe 10 minutes, maybe an hour.
Are you talking about soccer, or are you talking about that Ole Miss game that you guys played for 7.5 hours last fall?
I mean,
we're like,
really...
whoa, Georgia gets 6 more tries to win this game.
but in fairness, that we remember that game, myself included, because it was so abnormal.
Yeah,
we had soccer officials out there.
Like, we get extra overtime because Georgia's not winning. Hang on, let's try this again.
I mean, it's painful. Like, in theory, this is a 90-minute game played over 120 minutes of clock time.
Give or take 10.
Yeah. All right, we'll wrap it up there. Have a great 4th. Talk to you soon.